Are you interested in growing your own seedlings and want to know how to keep them warm and get them enough light? So there's two different ways to supplement heat and light for seedlings. One way is a light table in the house, and the other way is to build a hothouse in your greenhouse, garage, or in a spare room. So I use my hothouse to start all my seedlings when it's too cold outside to grow the plants. So for example, I need to start my tomato plants 8 weeks before planting them in the garden, and I can grow them in my hothouse during those 8 weeks. So today I'm going to be building a new hothouse in my greenhouse, and I will show you how to put it together and the 6 components that you will need for the best success. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need is a thermal break from the ground. So what I have here is, this is just one of my cinder block gardens, and I'm going to just use the end of this for my hothouse today. And I have, this is blue board. This is 1.5 inches thick. And so I just have a layer of blue board down, and that's going to be my thermal break. So if I have my heat pad in and I don't have a thermal break, all the heat will go down into the soil and it won't come up into the plants. So the first thing we need is a thermal break. All right, the next thing we need is a heat pad. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is put the heat pad on, but first I want to put just a layer of plastic because I am on top of one of my grow beds. I want to stop, you know, worms and weeds and anything coming up. So this is just going to kind of help little critters from getting up in my garden. Okay, and then next we're going to put on the heat pad. This is a brand new one that I ordered. This is from Spider Farmer. I really love the Spider Farmer products. They have worked fantastic. They're very professional, and I have a lot of their products. So if you're wanting a heat pad like this one, they come in different sizes. I'll put a link in the description below. You can click that and go and get yourself a heat pad. Now, if you'll notice, the heat pad is a little smaller than the area that I'm going to be heating, and that's fine, because I can put the trays on where just half the tray is on the pad, and that'll, the heat will go across to the other half. I'm going to put my plug the other direction. All right, so one thing about the heat pads is they don't typically come with a thermostat, and you really need the thermostat to control the temperature. So I bought this as a kit. I bought the heat pad and the thermostat together. So my heat pad is just going to plug right here into my thermostat, and then I will plug the thermostat into the wall, and then here I can adjust the temperatures that I want the mat to be at. I like the mat to run between 65 and 70 degrees. That's all the heat that you need for pretty much all the plants. It's a little hot for cool weather plants, but it's just perfect for the warm weather plants, so that'll be just right. Okay. So that's going to get plugged in. I have an extension cord here. I'll be able to plug that in. All right, so on top of my heat mat, I'm going to put another layer of plastic just to keep my heat mat clean. And also, as I'm sliding trays back and forth, if I scratch the plastic, no big deal. I don't want to scratch the heat pad. So just another layer of protection for the heat pad. And this is greenhouse film. This is 6 mil greenhouse film. I'll put a link below if you need to buy some. If you have greenhouses in your area, you might just be able to ask for it and they'll give it to you for free if they're changing out their roof. So this is just a leftover from when we changed out a roof. All right, so just that little bit more protection for my heat pad. All right, and the next piece to go on is going to be the wire support for the covers. All right, so this is the support wire, and what this is cement mesh. It's just like a 6x6. It's just a wire frame. You can get this at the lumberyard. You cut it to, this one's cut 72 inches. It makes this beautiful arc, and that way I can fit my trays in underneath, but this will support my lights, my covers, so that we can hold that heat in at night. So this just sits on top, and I have cut it. Let me see if I can show you. There are little feet here that I have, so we cut the wire in half, and then just left a couple little feet. Then I can take these and shove these into the ground. And so we just take those, put them into the ground. Okay. Okay, the next thing we're going to install is the lights. Now this is a light set that I've had for a while. These are a little bit older, but the next set that I got was the Spider Farmer lights, and they are fantastic. You can daisy chain them together. They are pretty incredible. But for this little bitty hothouse, I'm going to go ahead and just use these older lights since I already own them. So what I want to do is to install the lights so that they're about a foot above the plants. And so you can either hang them, the lights will come with a hook, or you can come up underneath here, and I'm just going to, there's clips on here. I'm just going to clip that. I think I want to go in a little further. Just clip this on so that they're held up on the wire. There we go. The wire is nice because it has a lot of support here. And then just run the cord up and out. Okay, so that is the next layer. All right, so you're going to want to put these on a timer, have them come on at like 8 in the morning, and then turn off at 8 at night so that you just have this 12-hour cycle. The little plants, they do need their rest, and they rest when it's dark out. Okay. So the next layer after this is our plastic layer to hold in the heat. All right, so the next thing that I put on my hothouses is a layer of plastic. This again is greenhouse film. This is an old piece that I had laying around, but it's perfectly good for this. And what its purpose is to help hold the heat in. So like if the room is cold, I can have this on and I can get some ambient light and I can hold the humidity in. So you just want to cut a layer of plastic that is, just going to fit nicely on top of your little hothouse here. And sometimes I'll have this on, and other times I'll just crack it open on one end. And that lets some of the humidity out. If you have too much humidity, it's too hard on the little seedlings. You'll get a feel for it. So you want to open this up sometimes so this layer of plastic serves the purpose for that. All right. The next layer is our insulative layer. All right, so the last layer here is our insulative layer, and what I have here is, this is frost blanket, and this is the 1.5 ounce frost blanket, and I'm going to use 2 of these, so I have an equivalent of 3 ounces of frost blanket protection. And what that's going to do is that's going to insulate, and it's going to hold the heat in here, because this room, this greenhouse, it may be 30 degrees in the morning, which is too cold for my little tomato plants. But underneath here, I can probably keep that 60, 65 degrees, which is what I'm looking for. If this is not enough insulation, just keep adding layers until you get what you want. But you want to take the insulative layer off during the heat of the day so that the light can get in and the plants can have some natural light. So I just fold this back. Once it warms up in the building here, I'll just fold this back for the day. Let the light in. If I need to let some humidity out, I can just fold this one back during the heat of the day when we're warm enough. And then at night I want to be sure that I cover everything up. Alrighty, so I stuck a couple trays in here. Some chicken food that we're raising, and then some pea shoots. But I wanted you to see how the 10-20 flats fit in here. And so I can get about 12 flats like this in here. And I have part of the flat on the heat pad and part not. And that heat will distribute throughout the whole space. So the one thing that you got to pay attention to when you're using a heat pad is that the soil will dry from the bottom up instead of the top down. And so you need to just be aware of where the heat pad is, and you may have to water that area more than the areas that are not on top of the heat pad. But otherwise, this works pretty good. Lights on, 12 hours, lights off, 12 hours. Cover and uncover as needed, and add more insulation if it's just too cold inside there at night. So in a hothouse, you grow amazing little seedlings to put out in your garden when the time is right.